What is up, guys? We are here for the finale, the last episode for the
Season finale.
2024-2025 PRFFFFLMP
Nailed
Season
it.
1.
Nailed it.
We have your boy Trevor and your other boy,
That's Sam. That's me.
and we are here with the one and only, the champion himself, the man that against all odds made the playoffs and then ran the gauntlet to take the dub. We have Paul Sigler, the GM of the was it Mr. Numballers? Is that right?
Mr. Numballers.
Mr. Numballers. Well, it's
Or
a
just
pleasure to have you on here, Paul.
colloquially known as just the Numballers.
The Numballers. That's correct. Yeah.
Numballers, yeah. Yeah, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, we are excited for your commentary on this week and really just the fantasy football season at large.
I really feel like a repeat guest at this point. I'm like a regular.
That's right. Yeah.
You really are. Hey, that's what happens when you win.
Yeah, you get a second episode if you win.
Rewarded.
This is actually his third episode.
Oh, that's right.
I think this is like his third episode in like 4 weeks, actually. So maybe
4.
Like that.
We did you over Thanksgiving, right?
The first
I can't remember.
No, I think it was after that.
Okay, I thought it was around Thanksgiving, but maybe that.
You might be right. You might be
right. Because I was on vacation. Yeah, but anyways, that's irrelevant.
Here's what I'm saying though. I think whoever was on the podcast the most, other than me and you, I think that may be one of the reasons why he won. I mean,
that's probably so. Yeah,
deny it.
Yeah. You know, and Paul, if I was to ask, would you say that you did or did not watch some of multiple episodes of the podcast?
I did.
You did. Okay. So that's for everyone at home that maybe didn't watch any of the podcast.
Zach.
To know that Zach, Levi, I learned that Levi didn't,
Jacob.
Cody. Jacob. Yeah.
Mitchell.
Yeah.
Mitchell didn't even play.
Yeah. Was that Fox on your shoulder when we started, Paul? Or did that just come up here recently?
No, it just came up.
Okay, awesome. Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, that really shows that, listening to the PRFFFFLMP can affect your chances of winning this thing at large.
Yeah, it sure can.
A great testimonial to run during the off season of the podcast.
That's right. I agree. Now, for those of you at home, you might not notice, but Paul is actually driving currently while we're filming this podcast. So he's really taken one for the team, showing the grit that got him here to the championship. Look at that. That's the road.
That's awesome, man. Paul is just showing off. I think this is a first. We were talking about before we started recording. I think this is the first for any of the Party Room podcasts. The first guest to ever be driving currently while on the podcast. Yeah,
I believe so.
Yeah, and it's kind of ironic because I love to listen to podcasts while I drive. Now I get to listen.
Now you're on one
live.
Yeah,
I also
come full circle.
I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong, but I think we might be the first podcast to consistently release one episode every week in season.
Wow. I believe that because usually they kind of teeter off towards the end.
Yeah. I mean, Jacob may have done it his first year, but, week 1 through 18, Trevor, we've released an episode every week.
Every single week. We didn't miss a beat.
The day may have changed, but the podcast kept coming.
That's right.
So are we here to talk about my victory or just how great you guys have done with the podcast?
I would talk about both.
To quote that one commercial from a long time ago, "Por qué no los dos?"
But you know what? Paul's got a good point. Why don't we dive in?
Let's get cracking.
Why don't we dive right into his victory, and then we can talk about the season as a whole.
No, because we want Paul to
get back to how great you guys have done.
I gotta share my screen now. So I got to remember how to do that once again.
Speaking of how great we've done.
Yeah. So
18 episodes. I'm pretty sure every episode Trevor said, I got to remember how to do this.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But each time it did get a little faster. So now, because we want Paul to not crash and we want him to make it home safely, he probably won't look at what we're doing as much. So we're going to probably have to tell him a little bit more of what we're doing.
I think that's just a great reflection of how the season went for Paul. He didn't really look at his team that much. We had to kind of tell him.
Right. Now, do we want to start with Paul or do we want to lead up to Paul? Because was it 3 matches this week? Is that right?
I think there was I think there was 3. There was the third. I honestly don't remember. Yeah, just go look at the matchups.
Yeah, let me click on the matchups.
Don't worry, Paul. We're saving the best for last.
That's right. Okay. But we'll fly through ours pretty quickly because why does it show it in this format?
I don't know. Like the
just worst format. I'll just click on this one and then go to scroll down.
Yeah.
All right. So, we'll just start with the consolation bracket. We're gonna fly through this so we can get to the good stuff. We'll start here with.
This was the 5th place game.
This one was. Okay.
Yep.
Well, this was the prostate podcasters and the furries, and you know the prostates went in there and really took a blowtorch to Andrew's team. Brock Purdy putting up 32 points is pretty impressive. Probably would have helped if he didn't throw 2 interceptions, but that's okay. Everyone's favorite mini game: did Cody start the right quarterback? And the answer is again, he did start the right quarterback.
He had 2 really good options this week.
Yeah, that he did, which is tough to do because you kind of expect Justin Herbert putting up 40 points to put up a few more points, but he didn't. So, alas, his team went off. He really had a pretty strong finale to the season. He finished pretty strong, but he just could not get across the finish line. Now we look over at Andrew.
I said it in the chat. I think Cody is secretly a really good fantasy football player. I think he pays attention. I just think that this year just didn't work out for him. And remember, if he had played Devontae Adams against me in the first round, he would have made it a little further. So, Cody,
that certainly was impactful. Yeah. We've said it. I think if I had to guess, Andrew maybe didn't change some of his people because he started Nick Chubb, who was on injured reserve. Would that have mattered? Tough to say. He starts Zach Charbonnet. He gets 9 more points, and that would have mattered. Actually, that would have been pretty exciting. But he wasn't paying attention, so that's a swift L for the King.
Yeah. Well. I mean, you hate to see it. Yeah, but I get it. You're not going to go for the championship, so you may as well just quit.
Yeah. To quote Party Room Film Festival 1, if you ain't first, you're last.
What was that? I thought Paul was saying something.
Yeah, what did you say, Paul?
Oh, I just said that's very inspirational, Sam.
Oh yeah, yeah. Right. Hey, I mean, tell it to Andrew. Don't tell it to me.
That's right.
He's the one. Andrew's the one that quit.
He did.
So
Nick.
Yeah. So that was 5th. Cody got 5th place. Andrew got 6th place. Congratulations, guys. I guess.
And then we've got the Dub Squad and the Steagles. Tell us what you think here, Sam.
This is the 3rd place game. Me and Matt. Matt had a really good team all season. He was plagued by injuries most of the year. Went through a rough stretch when Jane Daniels and Jordan Love kind of going back and forth between them. That Puka was a big pickup for him, but let's see what happened here. Jane Daniels has had a huge week. I mean, 400? Well, no, a lot of yards, just a lot of yards. It's too small.
227 passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 127 rushing.
Yeah, that's just a lot of yards.
Yeah.
And then what else do you have? Trey McBride went off. Finally got Trey McBride first touchdown.
Finally got a touchdown.
Yeah, he could have had another one, but he dropped it and it got picked off. But he didn't really drop it. It bounced off his hands. What else did Matt's team do?
Mike Evans.
Yeah, Mike Evans, another big game. I hope Mike Evans can get his 1,000-yard mark.
How many
again.
does he need this week? Do you know?
Click on his little blurb there.
Oh, okay. There we go, 85 yards.
85 yards. I think you can do it.
And they're going to feed him.
Paul, do you believe that Mike Evans can get 85 yards this week?
No.
No?
Okay. Well, hot take from the champ.
You heard it from the champ. Mike Evans not going to reach the 1,000-yard mark.
Yeah. Wow.
Let's see. What did my team do? You know what? It wasn't a bad.
You had a good week.
Yeah, Gibbs had a good week. Brown would have gotten a little bit more points if he hadn't gone down at the yard line.
Yeah.
Burrow
again, had a good week.
Like an MVP. Man, I should have started Kareem Hunt. Or no, I don't think it would have mattered.
I don't think it mattered. I really don't.
Yeah. How close was the score? It was like 12 points, I think.
Yeah, you didn't have anything you could do there.
Yeah. So you know what? I'll take fourth place finish. You know, Matt had a lot of points on the bench too. So I think no matter what I did, yeah, you did. But congrats to the Dub Squad on the third place.
That's right. And then we've got the man that fell from glory, right? Levi's team going into this thing first place overall, and he had to run into the Mack truck that was Paul Sigler, and he just couldn't keep up. And then he didn't start a full team, and he still beat me because my team stinks.
That's a rough way to go out, Trevor.
You know, sometimes this is simply the way it happens, you know?
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot to say. I kind of just lost. There wasn't anything I really could have done. My bench stinks. My players stink. My team stinks.
You may have had the waiver wire pickup of the year, though, with Bucky Irving.
That's true. Bucky Irving really saved my bacon for the latter half of the season.
Yeah. Paul, do you know anybody named Bucky?
Just like Beaver.
Okay. What about that one guy from Captain America?
I don't know him personally.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh, but wait, so you know Bucky, like the Beaver?
Well, I met him. I've seen him in person, at least.
Really?
Yeah, that counts. We count that, yeah. Have you never seen Bucky in person? No, sometimes he's there.
At Chili's?
At Bucky's.
I thought Paul said he met him at a Chili's.
Is that where you met him, Paul?
No.
Oh.
At his house.
At Bucky's house?
I mean, I assume his house. I assume he lives at the gas station.
No, I think that. Well, I think he actually lives at the dam, like over by the locks.
Oh, okay. Riley says those are called lodges.
Oh yeah, no, that checks out.
Yeah.
Other than I don't think I know any Buckies.
Okay.
I know.
Does Riley have any more Beaver facts for us for Bucky?
Nuggets.
The Nuggets. Beaver Nuggets are a big fan of the Beaver Nuggets.
This is a family show. The Beaver Nuggets.
That's right.
I don't know if
I love the Beaver Nuggets.
Yeah,
actually, that's not true. I'm never sure if I actually like the Beaver Nuggets, but I always eat the whole bag regardless.
I just like the one Beaver Nugget. Just one.
Just one Beaver Nugget? Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. You're a one nugget kind of guy?
Yeah. Anyway, let's.
So I lost. My team stinks.
Yeah, so
I got beat up by Levi's team.
Sorry, Ana De Armas. Levi, maybe next year you can do it for De Armas.
Yeah. I will say, this is just a little snippet. I was talking with Levi the other day, and we were talking about fantasy football, and he because this is his first time playing, and he was like, I was the best. I was primed for victory, and then I lost.
Yeah.
Like how did this happen? And I was like, I'm so glad that in your first season you got to experience the joys and the sorrows, the highest highs and the lowest lows of fantasy football. You really got it all of it. And I was like, are you going to do it again next year? And he said, absolutely. So, that's what we're looking for here.
Let's go. I can't wait. That's what I love to see. Some of these guys that don't really know much about NFL, they come in, they play fantasy football, they have good years, they get really excited, and then I hate to see them crash and burn, but it gets them into it. So last year it was Cody really got into it, and like I said before, Cody I think is a pretty good fantasy player. Levi,
absolutely.
Well, I'm interested to see the growth of fantasy manager Levi.
Absolutely.
And
but we're not here to talk about Levi. Was that Paul?
He probably should have listened to the podcast more.
He should have. If he listened to the podcast, might have got better.
Hey, he went from 1st to 7th, and Paul went from 1st.
8th to 1st, that's right. Yeah. Now here we are, the champ himself, Paul Sigler, Mr. Numballers, playing against Aaron Winterowski. Light the egg on fire. We got the ballers and the eggs. Now, Paul, we all have to talk about the elephant in the room. It's your boy, T. Higgins. T. Higgins. Now, you all year have been really the biggest believer in T. Higgins. Would you say that's a true statement?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I mean, Sam and I were calling you out. We were telling you to bench him.
Oh, I remember.
He does, because you listen to the podcast every week.
You blocked out all the noise and you said, we're sticking with my guy, T. Higgins. We're riding the T. Higgins train straight to the championship. And all of a sudden we get to the championship, and who is your highest point scorer this week? None other than your boy, T. Higgins, dropping a 35 bomb.
Man.
He had 3 touchdowns, 131 yards, and 11 catches.
Insane.
Absolutely monster game.
They do these little mic'd up sessions in the NFL. And if you go to the Bengals mic'd up for this week, I think it was their running back. But if you listen really closely in the background, I'm pretty sure you can hear Joe Burrow tell T. Higgins, "Hey man, Paul stuck his neck out for you all season. We're gonna make sure you have a big game and help him win the championship." You gotta listen really close, but you can hear it.
Yeah. I heard it once.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a legendary performance from T. Higgins. And you gotta think that he did it for Paul, right?
He did it for Paul.
Yeah.
He did. And you look at the final score here, right? Paul won by about 30 points, and T. Higgins putting up 35 was a huge part of that.
Yeah, it just blew him out. It was, Paul left no doubt on who the champion was.
Part of what happened, right, is because T. Higgins got you up so much so early on, you put so much pressure on Aaron to perform, right? And Aaron had to go all in on the Indianapolis Colts defense, which ended up losing him 4 points. Had T. Higgins had a normal, safe game, maybe he goes for the Minnesota defense and gets him 5. That's a 9-point swing. That early pressure that you put on with T. Higgins was truly pivotal in deciding the winner of this match.
Yeah. Jalen McMillan too on his bench. That could have been 12 there. Or what? That could have been another 16 points. So you're talking about 20. You're talking about 25 points that Aaron left sitting around there.
When it's not just 25, that's 29 points, because this is a 9-point swing from the Colts to the Vikings.
Yeah, but then you got the 20 points with Jalen McMillan and the 4 points of Zay Flowers. That's 16 points plus 9.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, I didn't count Zay Flowers. But yeah, you're right.
Hey, we got the numballers here. We got to get our math right.
That's right. Now, I will point out that I think Sam and I both said probably don't start Jalen McMillan. Probably start Debo instead. And that didn't really pan out particularly well for Aaron.
I don't know.
However,
I don't know if we said that, but sure, we'll go with it.
We could maybe find some clips of that. But I also remember telling Paul you should probably start Brian Thomas Jr. over Malik Neighbors. Yeah. And Malik Neighbors put up 33. Granted, Brian Thomas also put up 20. So It is what it is.
Really, what he should have done was sat Jamar Chase and played Malik Neighbors, but
that's right. That's right.
Oh well.
And Tyler Conklin, that was the one we all expected.
Yeah.
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 I also liked you trusting in the Denver defense, to pull it out against Cincy. Not a move a lot of people would have made.
No, they gave up 30 points, but 7 sacks and a fumble recovery. That's pretty good. It's a pretty good week.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Paul, I hear that you have a victory speech ready to go.
Yeah, well, before I get to that, I did want to say we did it for T. Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
He did it for us.
That's right.
No, this isn't my speech yet. This is a pre-speech.
Pre-speech. I love it.
Better speech.
And then, sometimes you just got to ignore the rat poison.
Yeah.
The media, like you guys specifically.
Yeah,
you guys
were
crashing on him. You guys were dogging him.
Maybe just a bit.
Just stayed loyal. Put him in. So anyway,
Nick Saban.
But as far as my victory speech, I would most want to say 1, 2, 3, and 4. Also 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9, and also 10.
Truly a speech for the numballers.
That is a great number speech.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Inspirational, even.
It came from the heart.
Wow.
I'm tearing up a little bit.
And for those of you listening at home, you might not think about the complexity of that speech. Now, I don't know if you know this, but you start 9 players every week. And Paul's referencing that he is the 10th man on this roster. He's the heart and soul that brought it all together. So, wow. What a revolutionary speech we've got there.
Thanks.
They're gonna they're gonna teach that in speech classes. You've got the I have a dream speech, and then they're gonna have this speech.
Yeah,
the Numballers victory speech.
I think so.
That was great.
Now, nobody thought we could do it.
No.
Yeah. Nobody did.
You remember, before we were in the playoffs and everyone was doubting?
I do. Oh, I recall.
I recall. Me and Trevor saying that you had a great team all season.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. I do want to give a big shout out to Zach on the couch for staying on the.
That was pretty important. That was.
Yeah, that was pretty critical to our victory.
Hey, you just got to get in, and then maybe you'll win.
Mm-hmm.
No, it is a little fun to look here. Oh, go ahead, Sam.
I totally forgot what I was gonna say. That's awesome. No, I it was funny. So Paul, you finished your regular season at 5-9. Then you got 3 straight wins. So you finished at 8-9, but you got the championship. So I was talking to Trevor off the record on Monday, and you had Brian Thomas, top 10 wide receiver, on your bench all season long up until this last week. And I know, your loyalty to T. Higgins had paid off, so can't deny that. But just imagine, what could have happened had you played Brian Thomas all those weeks that T. Higgins was out. Maybe you wouldn't have won the championship. You probably would have won more games during the regular season. You could have been the number 1 overall team, but no, you stuck to your guns, and you won the whole thing. So
yeah.
Did you ever think that you'd win a fantasy football league before you'd win the Golden Dewey?
I never thought I'd win a fantasy football league ever.
Well, Paul, we can officially set the record straight at this point. You're a better fantasy football player than a filmmaker.
You heard it here.
That's the question everyone's been asking. We've settled the debate once and for all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got a question for if Riley wants to jump in. What do you think about your husband being a fantasy football champion? First ever wife on the podcast.
It's true.
I'm struggling to find the words to say.
No, we understand. It's pretty breathtaking.
Yeah. The way that he like effortlessly won, I just can't express how proud I am.
I think effortlessly is a great word.
Yeah.
He really made it look easy, didn't he?
I didn't even know he cared about stuff like this.
Wow, he was so good at playing. You didn't even know he was playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, he never talked to me about it, so I'm hearing.
I can just hear you all like a few years, like, Lael's tired. She needs to go to bed. And she's like, "Oh, mommy, tell me a story. Tell me the story where dad won the fantasy football championship."
Yeah.
I can hear it now.
Yeah, without a doubt, I think that'll be her favorite.
Yeah. That'll be a household classic, the story that they tell about it. No, Riley, when would you say you knew Paul was playing fantasy football? At what point in the season?
When did you guys start it?
18 weeks ago.
Yeah, 18 weeks ago.
Well, I think I knew, I don't know, maybe 4 weeks in.
Okay.
About it. Yeah.
Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah, mostly if Trevor's at our house, he talks about it.
That's true. It's probably my fault for that, actually.
More about it from Trevor than Paul.
It was probably me coming over and bringing rat poison, trying to influence Paul's decision making.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but I bet it was a good dig. Good dig.
That's right. At myself.
Yeah. Good reference.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a deep dive for those who care.
Now, speaking of Paul, right? Now, Riley, we still want you here.
Okay.
So now, Riley, would you consider yourself an Alabama fan at this point in your career?
I have never cared about football. But
Alabama plays other sports too.
I care more now being married to Paul because his family cares about Alabama football. But I get most excited about watching with people so I can just eat snacks the whole time.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So usually I'm eating snacks.
Okay.
Snacks are good. I do like the snacks.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, are you familiar with Nick Saban at all?
Yes.
Yes. So are you aware that generally when he does like press conferences, he talks about Terry, and
Terry.
Are you familiar with Terry?
Yes. And it's
Miss Terry. Yeah.
Miss Terry, that's right. Yes. Now, would you consider yourself to be the Party Room film equivalent of Miss Terry?
Sure.
All right. That kind of checks out to me.
Yeah. You try to like make sure Paul's moving and eating healthy and stuff, which I feel like Miss Terry does that for Coach.
Yeah, I would say that's what she would do.
Yeah.
Maybe throw it back to Paul so we can ask him kind of the flip side of this one and get his take on it. Now, Paul, I'm sure you didn't hear any of that, so I'm gonna re-ask the question. Now, you're a pretty big Alabama fan, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, are you familiar with Nick Saban?
I've heard of him.
You've heard of him? So, as you may or may not know, in many of his post-game press conferences and whatnot, he'll reference Miss Terry when people ask him about certain decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Would you consider Riley to be the Miss Terry equivalent for you in the fantasy football league?
It's funny you asked that because just 2 nights ago we were doing New Year's resolutions and Riley said, I'm going to try to be more like Miss Terry this year in 2025.
Wow. Yeah,
so, yeah,
I mean,
is pretty incredible. She cares about the players. That's what I like.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I get too caught up in the game.
Yeah.
And wins and losses. But Miss Riley cares about the players.
No, I get. Yeah. Would you say she's part of the reason why you were so committed to T. Higgins?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
No, that checks out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when Lael would ask about the season, and Miss Riley would say, "Let me tell you about T. Higgins and the numball." That's what she'd say.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, he's a good kid. He's a good kid. He's gonna go places.
Yeah, hopefully not too far from where he currently is, though. Hopefully he stays with the same team, right, Sam?
Yeah, I sure hope so.
Yeah. Now, Paul, if we got you a T. Higgins jersey, would you wear that?
Well, I try to be impartial.
Okay, no, that's fair.
If I bought you a T. Higgins jersey, Paul, you would wear it.
I mean, okay, all right.
Well, you could go to Bengals games with Sam, and you could wear your T. Higgins jersey.
What if we bought Lael a T. Higgins jersey?
Technically, Lael probably would be a Bengals fan growing up in Central Kentucky.
That's true.
Yeah.
He might be.
Maybe so.
Wait a second. Would it say Higgins on the back?
It would say Higgins on the back.
Okay, well, that's cool.
Well, yeah, what do you think a T. Higgins jersey is?
Well, I just wanted to clarify.
That's fair. That checks out. Yeah,
you got to make sure. You got to know what you're wearing.
Speaking
of, we're talking about merchandise. There's only one piece of merchandise that I'm sure Paul cares about, and it's the Party Room Film Festival Fantasy Football League, Party Room Film Festival Fantasy Football League Championship Trophy. I can't remember what all it says. It says something like that. Are you excited to get that trophy, Paul?
Well, and also one of those Party Room hoodies, right? Doesn't the winner get one of those?
That's not a question for the podcast. That's a question for for the Party Room Film Festival Fantasy Football League team store.
That's correct. Yeah.
So go to prfffflts.com. And check out the team store.
We are also taking applications for PRFFFTSO for the tournament store operator. If anyone wants that role.
Yeah.
Is that where I'm gonna get my Higgins jersey too?
That would probably be from a different store. Yeah.
we might just buy it for you.
Or just a small one for Lael. Who's to say?
Maybe when T. Higgins goes to a different team and his jerseys are on discount.
That's right. Yeah. When he goes to the Jets, right?
Yeah, but you got to have a place on the mantle for the trophy, right?
Have you cleared a space for that yet?
Yeah, brand new house. Big trophy coming your way.
Well, first we have to build our fireplace.
Okay.
So we have to install the fireplace. Then we have to frame out the chimney, and then put the mantle, and then I'll be ready for it.
So I just want to make sure that
I just heard that he's building a whole new chimney, fireplace, and mantle just for this trophy. That's what I heard.
Yeah. Well, even more. Now, when would you say you began this mantle building process?
Well, we haven't started technically the construction, but we have the fireplace.
Okay.
We actually picked it up in Cincinnati.
Nice.
Okay.
A couple months, 2 or 3 months ago.
Okay. So 2 or 3 months ago, you were already confident enough that you were going to win the fantasy football championship. So you went in on the mantle at that point. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, you got to have somewhere good for the trophy.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right.
And as you know, when I had it in my house, it was very prominently displayed.
It was?
I think it was on the mantle for a while.
I remember seeing it there.
Yeah, I think it was.
So
for at least
Paul,
I thought you
period
just
of time.
pulled it out and put it there when Sam came over.
No. It was there all the time.
Oh, okay.
So Paul, so Tanner's gonna have to send you the trophy. Do you want to go ahead and give him your address right now on the podcast? Now just remember that this is on YouTube.
So everyone can come and show up and give you things.
Or you can just give him your address in a text message.
You could also, send it on Discord or in Facebook Messenger or Instagram or TikTok.
But if you want to share it here,
message.
we wouldn't stop you.
Okay. So just go to hiretrek.com. That's HIGHERTREK.com. And then there's a P.O. box down at the bottom. So he can send it to that. I actually don't know if they accept packages at the P.O. box.
They probably do.
And also, while you're on there, there's a page to make a donation.
Oh, okay. Hey,
like,
use the platform.
If you'd like to
is that where